Hello, everyone. Are we really live this time for real? Like the good live or the MJ staring into the camera wondering what's happening live? For those of you who missed it, I tried to do a test a few minutes ago and it went like live and the title of the video was Ben Stowe live at Mobile Beat, which it's not, and that's not even what we're talking about tonight. So I'm kind of filling in for John behind the camera tonight. Let us know if sound and everything's going good here. I'm running everything from my studio tonight, so I apologize if there are any goof ups. But I just want to say it's nice to be hanging with you guys again. It's been a couple of months. Dan's grown a very large beard. Yeah, looking good. Mine, yeah, that's nothing impressive. Shani, I'm still blowing it up all over the world. I'm seeing you're killing it as usual. Doing it. And Jared, I mean, I'm happy to see you in with this. I mean, your energy and your spark that you bring to the show, I love it. So welcome. It's the first time I get to welcome you and say hello. You know, I mean, we've been around, I think, on other shows possibly. All right, so tonight what we're going to talk about as open and as off the cuff as it's going to get, we're going to talk about this past week and some stories and different things that have happened to some of us. Dan said he had a good, was it a life lesson? Was that the word you used, Dan? Okay. So we're going to have some good stuff. So let us know again in the chat if you're hearing and seeing us, everything's good, all that kind of stuff. So Dan, why don't you just go ahead and start us out? Because I think it's a good thing. Well, it's going to be good.
Thaw it out because the lock deicer wasn't working. The hot water, I didn't want to pour it on it because that was just going to freeze it up. And so I learned the power of a portable hairdryer. And I've been looking ever since for a nice battery-powered one that I could keep in my car.
Hold up, Dan.
Hold on, Dan.
I'm going to make you start. I'm going to make you start that again because the mic wasn't on over here. So
that was a good warm up. Let's do that again. It's good practice round.
Can everyone hear everyone now?
All right, we're gonna test all our mics to make sure you guys can hear all of us.
Okay, now Dan is on. Can you hear Shani?
Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? How about now? Can you hear me now? How about now?
Jared, you're good. You can hear Jared good.
All right. On the projection.
The projection.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's that small little tidbit. That
was a Godzilla movie for a second.
All right, so for those of you who just joined us and wondering what's going on,
scene. Here we go, MJ.
I'm filling in for John tonight, and I'm not doing well, so hang in there because
MJ, we could do our show the way we normally do it. I'm ready. What do you want me to do?
Every time that I end up doing this, Shani and I are just mimes for an hour. So tonight, I'm going to do my best to stay in the background and make this work the best I can. We're going to talk about stuff that happened this week. Dan had a good life lesson, and he said it wasn't good. But I'm telling you, for those of you who didn't hear it, we heard it, and it's good. So Dan, start your story again. Tell us about what happened.
So take two, I guess, and I'll try and remember everything that I said the first time since it was so good.
Make it up now. They don't know if it was right or wrong.
That's true. I could change the story completely, and you guys, so I learned to take care of my cat. No. So by PA standards, it got really cold this weekend, and probably what wasn't so bad about that, or what made it so bad, I should say, was Thursday, Friday, we had 60-degree temps. It was nice. It felt wonderful. Friday, it just dumped like pretty much all day long, and that went into the night when the temperature decided to go from 60 down to 10. when I woke up the next morning on Saturday morning. What that meant was everything was covered in ice, and there was even some snow on top of that. But my trailer that I need in order to transport to an event had ice on it. Now I keep a Brinks lock on my trailer. It's one of those nice heavy duty ones that you can't even really get like the jaws of life into to break apart. I may have experience with that, but anyway, so the idea was this it has a piece that kind of just rotates inside of the lock itself, which is really nice because again, that means you really can't get to it. The downside is if there is that spot where it's supposed to move is filled with ice, there's not a whole lot to get it out. So what I ended up having a problem was because the entire thing was locked up. I didn't want to pour hot water on it because with it being so cold, it was just going to freeze it right back up. I tried to lock de-icer in it. That did nothing. And so I went in the house and I borrowed the hairdryer from my wife because, well, we know I don't need it. But I got it from her, and with the extension cord, I was able to thaw it out. I've learned I've got to find a portable hairdryer. I started looking around for like a battery powered ones. I found ones that can run off of a car battery, something like that, but still not quite anything that's what I need for just to thaw this thing out kind of quick. Some people have said lighters and stuff like that, but again, with it being so cold, that could quote unquote maybe do some damage to the lock. And I kind of need to make sure it's at least working while I'm at the event. But I'm struggling with that portable aspect because I'm just not finding anything that will run off of it. When I got to the gig, even though I had thawed it out at home, it was frozen again. Now it hadn't gotten any more moisture on it, but I couldn't even get the key in. It didn't want to turn. And that time I was like freaking out. So I just took my hands and stuck it on it until it would thaw. So if you know of one, that'd be awesome. Day and Night said spray denaturalized alcohol. I've heard hand sanitizers. That will do the lock itself. But the problem is because the bar has to move and there's ice in the way, and the lock is protecting all that, I've got to find a nice way to warm it up.
I've done like windshield wiper fluid too.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's sprays that you can do, that they're intended for de-icing a lock.
Yeah.
They're sprays like that. I've done the lighter thing, both the lighter on the thing and the lighter on the key to warm it up from that way. But anybody else in the chat room, feel free to throw in there any ideas.
I've gone to like the Ace Hardware and got like the de-icer. So I carry like in the winter, I'll carry the big bottle, like the windshield wiper fluid, like the big gallons of it in my trunk. So if I have to just pour it on the locks, I just pour it by the gallon on the locks and then spray the de-icer and let it sit for a few minutes to kind of just help warm it up. See if that kind of helps you out a little bit. But I've done that in the negative 20 that we've had like here sometimes when I have to do that.
Jimmy in the chat room says alcohol. Now, I don't know if he means like to warm yourself up, Dan, or the lock.
or just to drown my sorrows because I can't get the lock undone. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, a couple years ago, and you would think maybe I learned my lesson with this lock or even just taking winter gigs. I don't know. But I had a previous one, and I said the jaws of life, and how we experienced it was I broke the key off in the lock. Yeah,
because it happens to a lot of people.
Well, that was the thing. Yeah. I didn't even think I turned it like that much. Like I thought I stuck it in and just tried, and it just snapped it right off. And I had a bridal show the next day where I had already loaded my trailer. So I was trying to put one last thing in when it happened. And I called my buddy who happens to work for the local volunteer fire company, and we brought it over. But it was like trying to get it into where the lock was. Just I thought first for a while we were gonna have to take the door off because I didn't see any other way that was happening.
It doesn't really help now because it's after the fact, but I use the same exact type of lock that you're talking about, the cylindrical one that turns.
Yep.
And I had that same exact thing happen to me where I went out there and it's just frozen solid. You put the key in and you're fairly certain that if you keep giving that more torque, that key is just going to break right off. And after I got that thought out, what did I do? I did something really simple. I think I put it in a plastic bag and then put like a tie wrap around it, and it prevented all the water from seeping back into it. That way, when I had to go back out a week later, and it had snowed more, I wouldn't have to worry about it all seeping down in there. I could just take the bag off. If it was destroyed, it doesn't matter. It was a little Ziploc bag or whatnot. And then the tie strap or whatnot, there's no money right there, but it kept all the snow and the ice off of it. It's the same conceivable ideas as the windshield protector things that you can put on your windshield when it gets snowy, and then you just pull the whole thing off. It's the same thing, just in a smaller format.
Dan, are you watching the chat? Because
no, I was watching Jared there for a second. So.
All right, no, because Ian in there mentioned something. You know how you get the battery powered drills and stuff? Well, they make a lot of add-ons now, and you can actually get a heat gun that runs off that same battery like you would do on your drill, and you can run that. I don't know how much those are. I mean, you can get the drill packs really cheap, but I'm guessing an add-on for the heat gun can't be terribly bad. I don't know. I'm guessing that's the more expensive route.
Well, when I was finding even just like some of the, like there was a hairdryer too that I found that was kind of in that ballpark. I'm sure it would drain batteries, which is why.
The hairdryer and the smaller hair dryers are you're gonna burn it out. The small little hair dryers are just gonna burn out.
Yeah. So, I mean, it worked. Like I said, it worked because I got the stuff out and I was able to get it open. But battery heat gun, yeah, there we go. But I'm going to try the windshield washer fluid and then the baggie, and that's definitely someplace to begin because I know it's supposed to warm up this weekend, but who knows what February's got in store for it, and same with March.
Yeah, I just keep those in our garage and just put them in the trunk, and then if I have to just pour the whole gallon on there, I don't care. If it works, it works.
Cool.
You could also probably get like one of those little spray bottles.
Yeah.
In your bathroom, and then you could just fill it up with that, because then you can have your two different settings of either like a mist spray or more of a direct stream, and that way you could shoot it down into the crevices
and those holes on it. Yeah.
Robin,
because that's the thing. Again, it's not. I don't want to say it's the lock, because I'm sure that the lock itself had some issue, especially when I was doing it at the gig. But again, it was just, and I've even tried, okay, if this way, like if the spot where all the ice was filling was this way, well, now if I flip it over and put the lock on this way, will help. No, it didn't matter which way I had it. I've had issues both times. So
Robin in the chat had a nice suggestion. You're going to have to go read it, because I'm not saying it.
I've got neighbors and I live along a busy street, Robin. I'm not going to jail over my lock. Sorry.
That's for jellyfish sting. Nice, Shani.
Athlete's foot also. Yeah,
I heard.
Oh
my.
Oh,
Robin's been on the sun too much.
That's funny.
I've seen it on TV. I wouldn't know.
Would you ever do that though? Like if you had a jellyfish sting.
Are we talking hypothetical situation? Or are we talking for real?
No, like hypothetically.
Are we talking what happens on vacation stays on vacation?
Let's just get real here for a second.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because are we talking like to yourself or like somebody else? Because let's be honest, some people can't do it to themselves. So
that's true. Well, you could get a spray bottle.
Asking.
You could get a spray bottle, and then you have a mystery function or a direct stream.
Real talk. You get a jellyfish sting. You're not like, oh, let me go walk to the AM PM. You get a jellyfish sting. You need to do it right then and there, Jared. Like you're not like.
Who would walk to someplace like that though?
Anybody else feel the video from it's the shark's home. You stay out of their home.
It's true. Yes.
Yes.
Jellyfish home. Stay away.
If it happens, you need to. It's like right then and there. You need to take care of the situation right then and there. So
Swim
it's
in
like
a pool. You don't have the problem.
If it happens, you have to figure it out. So what's the answers, people? Jared just asked the question.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Okay, so if it happened to you or to maybe your loved one, those are the two options. Would you? I mean, I have no problem if I had to myself, but I think it would be weird if, for like my wife, if I was like, okay, listen, I know this stinks and I know you love the ocean, but you got a jellyfish sting and I have to do this and it has to happen right now. So
you look like you're taking too much pleasure in that.
Well, because it would embarrass the bejesus out of her. I know that it
R.
would.
Kelly-
So
R.
that makes
Kelly
you
has
happy?
no problem doing
Well,
it.
it brings some humor to my life. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't like make a huge announcement and like call people around like an old time squire. Hear ye, come forth, see the whiz happen on thy leg. Nothing like that. It would just be a let's make it happen and get done with it and be. I just never put myself in that position. We
Just
never go to
just
the
invite R. Kelly
There
and
are-
he'll do
there's
it
no
for you.
beaches around.
Oh,
What?
What?
oh. It reminds me of
What
a
just
joke.
happened? What just happened? What?
I think we both said something at the same time, but yours was significant more.
You got to be quick with me. You got to be quick with me.
Okay.
It reminds me of the old joke of these two guys walking through the desert, and one guy gets bit on the butt by a snake. And he's like, what do I do? What do I do? He goes, run to town and get the doctor. So the other guy ran to town, got doctor, what do you do? My buddy got bit on the butt by a snake. And the doctor says, well, you're going to have to suck the poison out. So he goes back to his friend and he says, what'd the doctor say? Doctor said you're going to die. So there we go. There's my input on this derailment, which was an awesome derailment. It was awesome.
Thank
As long
you,
as
Robin.
everybody could hear us, that's all that mattered.
That's all that matters.
Good.
So, who else? What else happened this week that didn't involve urination and or being locked in or out of things?
I think I'm done. I'm out for the night. Have a good night, everybody. I'm gonna head to bed.
Mic drop. Boom.
I've learned another thing. Hey, it was a great week for me. I've learned a couple things. I've learned that apparently I put way too little into my gear rack compared to Mike Anderson. And for those of you that have not seen it, he just went through a system build using an MCX 8000 case from Odyssey with the 2-space rack underneath. And I thought he was going to go a couple places with it, and he went so far, putting like 8,000 pounds of equipment in it. Not really, MJ, but it was nice. It was nice. I mean, he has wireless mics, he has audio transmitters, he has patch panel, he had signal processor, power conditioner, airport express, show express, dual monitors, power cables. I mean, it was just like I was watching it going, I got nothing compared to that.
Wow. So it's in a case, not a rack mount, you're saying?
No, it's you've seen my case, right?
Yeah,
And I sent you a
yeah.
picture, right? So he has the MCX 8000 version of my case.
It's virtually the same thing. Yeah.
I think it's got 2 extra inches on the width, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
and so he fits all that and makes it look quite nice without utilizing the extra rack rails that I put in the back.
Wow, that's got to be heavy, because I know mine doesn't have the mics that yours has in it, and it's 55.5 pounds with the controller in the case. So I can't imagine adding all that stuff to it.
Oh yeah, I mean he's talked about maybe modifying the lid so you can like basically one person on each end pick it up and put it. Yeah, I mean the weight to it. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't think the weight to it probably is that far off from mine. Because I have some of the things, but just how clean he had it in there and how nice it was. Like I said, there was a couple things in there, but the couple things that he has in there probably add an extra pound or two at most. But it was the fact that they were in there and so neatly done. The way that he installed them, I wouldn't have thought of. Like I just recently put my Show Express in and installed it in the case, and he actually got it so that you don't have to like sandwich it in to keep it in. I like to Tetris my stuff. And he basically was able to attach it to the case so that it stays put when he's traveling. And again, for those of you that are kind of going, I'm not following a single thing he's saying. Living Motion Monograms, a little plug for him, is his thing on YouTube. And there's 5 different parts to the system build that, I mean, it goes over everything from that case to like how he chose the case to what he was going to try and put in it. And then he goes step by step and shows almost everything, like how he did it when he did it. It's not like, okay, it's done, poof, take a look. It's okay, this is what I did and this is me doing it. So
Just to give everybody a heads up, he's actually doing a live stream tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And it looks like he's doing a full Q&A talking about the full install that you're talking about, Dan.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
You said 4 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
4 p.m. PST, so Pacific.
So his time. Okay. I wasn't sure if you were seeing that on like an event or on him.
Yeah, he actually just put it out here on Facebook. I'll throw a link into the YouTube feed. Oh, yep, nope, never mind. I can't do that.
Nope.
I always forget that I can't do that. But if you search for live stream DJ system custom build Q&A from Michael Anderson, it pops right up. On Facebook. Right. I'm sorry, on Facebook.
Cool.
All right.
I'm going to check that out. It's interesting how far it's come. I mean, because as technology changes, my mind, I was just every time like I end up talking to someone about the new technology, how things have changed and how far they've come, and what you would have had 10 or 20 years ago to put together what he has in that one case. Even though we're saying it's a crazy heavy case, what would that have been 10 or 20 years ago?
Oh, well, we wouldn't have had controllers. It would have been something else. But yeah, I mean, you're right. But who also in the right mind with all those extra things would have even put it in a single case?
Yeah. So I love that.
I had to bring mine in because I was experiencing some other issues, and while I'm at it, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll rebuild some things. But just like carrying it in and down the steps, I'm like, oh my gosh, again, why can you not come up with a case that's a little lighter?
Now you feel my pain going in and out of clubs sometime or bars with that case. Up and down.
I mean, I get it because I used to have one that I would bring in, not near as heavy as this thing is, but again, why? I mean, I know we've talked about it, but still, manufacturers, come on, cut the weight in half somehow.
It can be done. For those of you who didn't see, I did a wish list this year of 5 things that I wish existed. And that was one of the things that I went on a rant about, was the heaviness of cases, because there's a difference between a flight case, a tour case, and a carry case. And back in the days, this was, early to mid 90s, I ended up getting a set of American Audio CD players. Now, it was before ADJ and before American Audio. It was called American DJ. And they were American DJ CD players and mixer that came in this case that I still have. And that case is much thinner, plastic corners, the whole 9 yards, weighs about 8 or 10 pounds at most, maybe 10, and it still is held together. And that's 20. I honestly used it 12 years, let's say minimum 12 years. So I wasn't looking for something that I would be able to throw in a tour bus or fly somewhere. I was the one carrying it from the house to the car, and I don't know why they don't make more things like that just become carry cases, so you don't have to tear down cords and stuff everywhere you go, because everybody goes, oh, what about a soft case? Well, that's fine, but you still have to plug and unplug everything. But I don't know. The one guy I talked to was either it might have been Pro X. I don't know, but this was at the expo 2 or 3 years ago, and was asking, why don't they? And he said, we used to, but then everybody would complain because they tried to treat it like a flight case, and it would get all broken up, and it would be like, oh, this case falls apart. And they're like, well, that's not what it was intended for. So that's why, because they got tired of people complaining. So maybe we should all just stop complaining about everything.
Or we should make our own and start marketing it.
I honestly had worked up everything, because there are companies out there that you can piece together and buy everything, the corners, the latches, everything. But the one piece that I cannot find, Dan, is that slider tongue and groove that is on our shelf. Okay, for those of you who know, it's just a little dovetail that comes down and it pieces in, and your case slides in out. I literally cannot find that anywhere. I talk to factory people, and they're all like, oh no, this gets assembled overseas and we just put our name on it. So it's that one piece. Otherwise, I would have built my own last year. So if we can find that, Dan, we need to find you a lock de-icer that doesn't involve drinking a lot of water and railing for a case. So there we go. More rants. Anybody else? What's going on? I mean, anybody? We had just, here where Dan and I were, we did have some crazy weather, and Shani's up pretty much. Darn, how close are you to Canada? Like, you've got to be like an hour away from Canada, 2 hours away, something like that, right? Chicago.
He didn't pass geography class very much.
I mean, I'm not close to.
Well, I mean, if you went across the lake, it's not that far, right?
am I
She's
swimming?
closer than Florida is.
Am I swimming through Lake Michigan? I don't understand.
Take a boat. Take a boat.
I'm not Detroit where you can like go across and like there's Canada.
Technically, you can go south when you're in Detroit to go to Canada.
Right. It's right across.
Yeah. Because they talk about, born and raised in South Detroit, and in the Journey song with South Detroit's Canada.
Right. I mean, you literally can like when I do conferences in Detroit, I look across and like Canada is like right there. But no, I mean, I'm not like close to Canada. I'm not like New York or like right there where I used to do like in Buffalo where I would do like the conference and I used to literally walk across and take the pictures like on the take my passport and like walk across like the little border and be like, I'm in Canada, I'm in the United States, I'm in Canada, I'm in the United States. Yeah. No, I'm not close. Like I would actually jump on a plane. Like I'm not close.
You're not going to skate across the lake when it freezes?
She doesn't have a gondola.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not I'm not going across in a barrel or anything like that. Anything. Sorry. No, is there a reason why I'm going to Canada?
We're talking about the cold, and I know Chicago's crazy windy, crazy cold. So I'm just kind of wondering
what's snowing here and everything. It's cold. I mean, it's not cute here right now, but it's winter in Chicago.
I had a gig that actually got canceled on Friday because of the weather, which is it's a part of our job that if a place cancels, you're out of a paycheck for the night, and that's the way it was. So it's part of our business.
It's winter here. I mean, we're used to it, but the clubs are still packed. And
actually, no, that was what it was. It was two of the places I DJ'd at. Both did not open Friday night. Neither one. So that's how I lost that. It wasn't a private gig. It was a club and a bar, and they both said we're not going to make our employees come in tonight. And
no, not here. Not here. It's normal here. Yeah. They know how it is in Chicago, and they just tell you just be careful. And
I had already planned at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon before the snow hit. I was going to leave and be there because I want to collect a freaking paycheck. And,
they just tell you to leave early.
Yeah, and it was like 3 o'clock. They gave me a call and said, "Hey, we're not going to stay open for tonight. We're shutting down. We're not doing anything." So like 3 in the afternoon, and there at that point there was no snow on the ground, nothing, and it's the way it goes.
Yeah, they just tell you to leave early. They don't care if the schools are closed or no. Just leave early. We're still open.
So what? So especially, all three of you are full time, and so there for a while, I was like, you know what, it's winter. I'm not taking anything just because I didn't want to risk it. What are some of the things that you're doing to just help, I guess, prepare for that? Because like if it's bad and it's a private event, probably not getting canceled.
Right.
You say, well,
I don't want to say it's not. Obviously it depends. Like, for example, I know school events, I've had ones where they're like, listen, this is our snow date. If this happens, and if we don't, we're just saying, forget it. But the old adage I used to say why I wouldn't do winter events was, a bride's not getting married just because there's snow on the ground. She's going to be there, hell or high water or snow. And there's nothing you can do about it other than be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I bought chains for my car a couple years ago just so I was able to make it to stuff. I have just a little Scion made by Toyota, and I went out and ordered special chains for the car, and just that's one of my preparants.
Yeah, we just make sure that depending on if we're in the city or wherever we are, we take extra time for prep for whatever, if we normally take 3 hours to prep for a city gig, we take 5, we take 6, we make sure we watch the weather. We make sure we talk to the client more times instead of just talking to them on Wednesday and confirm everything. If we know the weather is going to be bad Thursday, Friday for the Saturday, or Thursday for Friday, we say, okay, here are our cell phones. Can we have your cell phone so we can confirm with you Thursday night for Friday, or call you, Friday morning for Friday night just to confirm everything, because again, we know we're going to do it, but we don't know maybe about the restaurant. Maybe there's something going on at the venue, or they lost power or something like that. We know we're going to be good, but we want to make sure everybody else is good on their all ends. So we want to make sure that even though we show up, we don't want to show up and everything else is going to go bad. So we want to make sure that everybody's good on all ends. So we just want to make sure we cover all our bases, and we tell like our whole performance crews when we send out our emails to our performance crews, we'll even write it like in our emails too. Hey guys, because of weather, just please make sure you prepare yourself and give yourselves plenty of time. We don't want anyone getting in accidents. We don't want anyone, if you're going to be running late, please take, extra time. We don't want those phone calls saying you were in an accident on the expressway, wipe out, or God forbid, because of this, because of that. So we just, want everyone to make sure that they're safe in this kind of weather and everything. So we just tell everybody to just, take extra time. And me, like, January starts my traveling again. So we have to be careful with, with all of us, with our booking our trips and making sure, like for me, next week I start traveling again, and they were weary because I'm supposed to be coming back on a Sunday, and then they wanted to book me Sunday night, but I'm coming back from New York. So it's like, is the weather going to be good? Is the weather not going to be good? Can we book her?
Shani, how does that work for some of the gigs that you do where you have to fly somewhere with obviously airport stuff? How do you have to kind of mentally, get ready? Because obviously if you're driving somewhere, like you said, you can leave a little early.
Right.
Planes are a little different.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, when I'm flying out, like I start with the LA trip. So like that one's I'm fine. I'm going into good weather. Well, now with LA, I don't know what's going on with them with the mudslides and everything. So it's like, I don't even know. But it's like my first trip's to LA, the second one's to New York. So it's like, I don't know, it's like everybody, like I said, everybody thinks like my life is so glamorous with my traveling, and it's not. I know we talked about this last year on the shows. Like the traveling part is really the sucky part. Like it really, really is. And especially with one of my other trips, I'm in a smaller town outside. So we were trying to figure out the closest airport to like get me. And then it was like, okay, does she rent a car? Do we do this? Do we do that? And I'm like, oh God, the things we do for my client. Like, I was like, oh, really? Like, I don't want, like, can't we like get me in like a nice, like, can I do this in California where I'm like driving like with the top down and like I don't want to like, rent a car in like a snowy, like in a Chicago type place where I'm going to be like gripping the wheel, like, driving like, I don't know where I'm going and I got to follow navigation. So it just, it sucks. And we just have to make sure that we book it like, okay, she has to be here at a certain time. So let's make sure when we book it, she's here to make sure she, it sucks with the weather and the traveling to make sure that you can't, even when the weather's good. I've done like snaps and stuff that I'm sitting in an airport because of delays of mechanical issues and things like that. So it's like, I just have to go with the flow and figure things out. But, like my conference times all start now, and January starts all their crunch times. So it's like I start traveling again, and it's terrible because of the weather. So we'll see what happens. If you guys follow me on my snaps and Instagrams, you'll see the life of Shani and traveling.
Do you guys, Jared, do you use like a different vehicle if it's going to be bad? I mean, like for example, I'm towing with my trailer. And one of the things I contemplated for Saturday, even though at that point the roads weren't bad, it was just, kind of ease, and it was the lock issue. Anyway, I almost said, you know what, heck with it. I'm going to clear everything in my car, and I'm going to fit everything in my car. But the downside to that is then I wouldn't have had my backup should I need it.
Mm-hmm. I primarily use a antique 1642 rickshaw. It's a little bit more expensive to hire the person to pull me around, but I feel that it gives me that element of surprise when I arrive to the venue.
Is there a monkey involved?
No monkeys involved.
That's illegal.
Rickshaw, but I do feel that it helps me stand out. No, good question. I pretty much just I use a Tahoe. That's my vehicle of choice. And if I fold down the seats, I'm able to fit a reception system, a ceremony system, 24 uplights, and a couple cocktail hour speakers, and then still have some extra room. And
Dang.
It's when people watch me load up, because they're always
Tahos
very
are
eager
awesome. I used to have a Tahoe. I loved my Tahoe.
There's so much room in there, and if you know how to pack it, because there are normally very kind people at the end of events that are willing to help you. I can help you load that up. Well, you worry about your drink and you worry about how you're going to get home. I'll worry about picking up all this really expensive equipment. They realize that I'm a master of Tetris and how to get everything in a very specific way. But I do have a trailer as well, and when I do the very random and rare school dances or very large corporate events that require, everything and the kitchen sink when it comes to sound, then I'll hook up the trailer and I'll take that with me. But for the most part, Dan, I put everything into the Tahoe. It's 4-wheel drive. I don't have to worry about snow for that much. It's Indiana. So here in Indianapolis, weather changes every 24 hours. Tomorrow they say that, oh yeah, you might get 4 or 5 inches, and then you get there and it's a light mist that has happened.
Right.
And it's flat. So you basically just, you don't have the hill to go up. So
exactly. That's why I normally default to the rickshaw, because it's very easy on their legs. And then it makes me feel good. Makes me feel pretty.
It's important to feel pretty.
As long as you feel pretty, that's all that matters.
I do. When I'm riding in the rickshaw, I throw out little streamers as I'm going down.
You feel pretty. That's all that matters.
It does. That's
for everybody else.
That's what and you guys all have DJNTV shirts. I'm gonna get I Feel So Pretty shirt, and that's
pretty.
My swag is gonna be that.
Oh, so pretty. You're gonna get copyright busted for that. We're gonna get copyright busted if I say anymore. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, has anybody been watching what's going on with Facebook?
Yeah.
There is some changes, and it's got, for those of you who don't know, Jared is going to tell us about it, and it's kind of interesting. And it could, because here's where I want you to kind of like help explain it, maybe, Jared, is the business side of it for someone who's trying to reach people, and then just your personal side.
So the easiest way that I can explain this is Zuckerberg and his infinite wisdom with his team they want more money. That's really basically what it's boiling down to, is they want more money. And everybody I'm speaking to, you have your personal profile and then you have your business page. Now, there are groups and there are other elements, but for the sake of this conversation, we're talking about your personal profile and your business page, PAGE. And what Zuckerberg and his team are doing is they are going to start implementing these algorithms that are going to scour the pages. Well, first and foremost, all of the pages, for the most part, are going to be moved over to the, what do they call that section? Michael, do you know off the top of your head?
No.
I cannot think of what it's called.
I'm not sure where you're going, because I didn't read that part of it. I just read about the algorithm, and my main thing that I read, and you can touch on this while you're thinking of that, is how our interaction is going to change.
Like everybody has to interact.
Yeah, because if we're not, if this is at least the way I took the article, that if we're not interacting with people, they're not going to see us anymore.
And if we're not interacting with each other on the page too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was this section in your news feed, and I'm looking at my Facebook page right now, and I don't see the grouping, but it was on the upper left-hand corner where it says news feed, messenger, watch, marketplace, and there was Explore. That's what it was called.
Explore. Yes.
And they're moving everything page-wise over to the Explore feed, and the only page feeds that you will see on your personal news feed are going to be the ones that are either paying a lot for it. And when I say a lot, I'm talking about significantly more than what you're paying right now. Or 2, if there is organic conversation happening back and forth. And the reason why that they're doing this is Facebook and Zuckerberg are like, we built Facebook, and I'm paraphrasing, we built Facebook for people. not for pages and for businesses. We built it for people to connect with other people. So we just don't want businesses slamming content left and right, scheduling stuff all the time. And instead of quantity, they're looking for quality. They're looking for what is actually going to get engagement. And by engagement, I don't mean just simple likes and, hearts and whatever else, even to the degree of shares. They're not really looking at shares. They're looking at, if I post something on the DJNTV Insider and then Michael comments on it, and then Dan comments on Michael's comment, and then Shani joins in, and there's actual conversation going back and forth, that's the big green flag for Facebook to say, oh, this is good stuff. This is what other people should be seeing. They're not going to be posting, hey, ABC DJs 123 just posted this blog posting that was scheduled to go out since last week. It got a few likes and that's about it. Guess what? It's not going to show up on anybody's pages.
Right. And they're not just looking for people who are just making like the simple comments. They're looking for like MJ made a comment like, oh, yes, this was great. I did this on my gig Saturday. And then I'm like, oh, MJ, what part of your gig Saturday did you do?
Yeah, the whole back and forth.
I interacted with MJ, and now MJ's like, oh, Shani, let me tell you about it. And then Dan's like, hey, Shani, how are you? And now, like, we're all in a conversation on the DJNTV page. And now, like, which I get pissed about when I post something, like, on somebody's thing, and I'm like, hey, guys, I have a question about, yellow cheese. And then MJ's like, oh, well, it's not white cheese. And then all of a sudden Dan's like, oh, well, let me tell you about lemons. And I'm like, I don't care about lemons. And then all of a sudden Jared's like, yeah, they're not limes. And I'm like, I'm talking about, I just asked a question about, about yellow cheese, and then all of a sudden everybody's having a conversation and I get mad because I just had the question about cheese, but that's what they want. They want everybody.
Yeah. Hijacked your post.
Hijack. That's what they want though. They want that hijacking post. And I don't like when people hijack.
It's funny that they're doing this because this fits me. So don't hate me because for those of you who don't know, if you go to Facebook /pages/feed, you see a feed of no people, all business. And that's probably what I spend most of my time on. I rarely hit the home button when it's on, on the computer or on the thing, because I don't want to hear someone, Joe from Philadelphia is thinking about buying a blue shirt. I don't care, Joe. I don't need to see the picture of your pizza either. So it's kind of interesting that where you are going, I think you're going to have a very polarized audience there, to where ones who want no business, which is kind of what Zuckerberg thinks everybody's going to want, and the businesses who want to be all in there. So like you said, I think just exactly what you said, it's about money.
Yeah.
Is there, because it seemed like a few years ago they tried to do or they changed up the algorithm or something like that to where you wouldn't see as much of the pages and not necessarily content, but just there was the whole movement where you kept seeing like businesses would say, listen, if you want to follow us, you click on is that still an option?
No, because Facebook is really going to change the way you like things that are going to pop up now for you. It's like they can do whatever they want. Yeah. It's their content. So that's why people are like, oh, I never see this anymore. I never see that anymore, because it's an algorithm that they're following. Like they have the right to do whatever they want when you open up your Facebook page and you see what you see. So, and now like they want it more personal. They don't really want it for businesses unless you're paying an arm and a leg for your business to be on there. They want it for you to see Aunt Mary and, showing pictures of the kids to everybody, and everybody saying how cute the kids look and, in their purple shirts and, and things like that.
Jared, how does it work for those, if you do a post and you want to do a monetized post? Did they say anything about that?
For your business page?
Anything. If you just want to pay to boost a post. Like
it's gonna work. It's gonna work the same way.
It's gonna work, but they did say that doing like scheduled posts now really aren't gonna, reach an audience the way it was gonna reach before. Okay. They did say that like if you like used to do scheduled posts, like, oh, I want this posted like on your business page. If you used to do, because like you couldn't post at a certain time because of scheduling things. If you said like, I want to do a post at 10 a.m. on Monday because I'm always in meetings or I'm at work or something, doing those posts now aren't going to reach the audience you used to reach because of the business page now.
Yeah.
That they're not going to be, unless you're going to be paying $200 or whatever to reach that audience.
It feels like they're doing this. They're saying that this has been in something that they've been thinking about for a while. I really, really, really think this is a knee-jerk reaction to the upswing that Snapchat has had. And when they came, I don't know the CEO of Snapchat. I don't know his name, but he came out mid last year, maybe late last year, and said, we're officially separating the social from the media, and you can get all of your social content, the people content, over here, and then you can get media content. So people like Michael who want to go over and check out the business stuff can still do that. But then the other folks, the Dans and the Shanies and the Jareds that would prefer just to connect with other people, you can go this other direction and it'll keep it completely separated. When they did that, they actually saw an upswing in their downloads and in their active users. And I have a feeling that Zuckerberg and his team were like, there's something, they've hit something here. And they just needed that proof of concept maybe. And Snapchat said, okay, we'll do it. And then they did it, and it's working pretty darn well for them, and more power to them. One
of the articles I read talked about that they said that, and I don't want to take this direction other than answering the question, that they said because of the way the algorithm worked and posts, that it affected the last election. That was one of the reasons they're saying that they want to change it. Do you believe that, or do you just believe that's their way of covering it, making it look like we're trying to benefit everybody, or do you think there's anything to that? I mean, I don't know. Their former algorithms affecting the election, or is it just them saying, oh, we're doing this to make your life better so you don't see all these feeds? Or because I think it's kind of a smokescreen. To me, it's always about follow the money. So anything they do, I'm thinking they're doing it because they now know that they can make you pay to get more of your things out there. But they're saying, oh, no, we're doing it to protect you from all these false feeds because it's causing anxiety in society.
I don't get behind the whole anxiety in society aspect of it. What I do see, though, is if they can prove that it was some sort of a dominant social movement or persuasion, that in 2.5 years, when we come up to the next elections, you're going to see a giant batch of that money that is in their campaign funds going into social media. And they don't care really how much they care, but they don't really care, especially if they're going to be put onto a platform to the scale of Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or whatever it might be. And they say, we've got the money. You're saying that I have to pay you X amount of dollars for me to be able to take a prominent position and being seen in X, Y, and Z different fields. Significantly more than it's almost to the point of like a net neutrality type of a thing, where the big wigs are going to come in and Zuckerberg's like, cool, I can either make $10 off of these 100 people, or I could make 100,000 off of these 1 or 2 people and get the really big numbers coming forward. It's always, I agree with you, Mike, that Michael, it's all about money. I just don't think you're going to see it right now. I think he's playing the chess game. He's playing okay, this is different right now, but in a few more years down the road, you're really going to see the dynamic impact. And then all of a sudden, Facebook is going to become Democrat versus Republican. And that's all you're going to see is those types of ads. In my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, I am no Zuckerberg by any means. I'm as rich as him, but other than that, I don't have any other quality.
Zuckerberg ain't got no rickshaw. Zuckerberg ain't got no rickshaw.
He ain't got no rickshaw. Come on, sucker.
I would like to see them implement filters because I use Facebook, a thing called FBF, Facebook filter. They actually changed the name because Facebook wouldn't allow them, and it lets me put a list of words. So like, let's say I put the word in there NFL. Anybody who puts the word initials NFL in their post will not come up on my feed because of this plugin. I'd like to see them maybe put a little bit more of that, because I like that they just added that snooze for 30 days, and they used to have the snooze for 24 hours snooze. I love that, because I would have a friend that would start ranting about something, and I know, he's gonna tire himself out in a day or two, and I'd put it on snooze and then back to getting to see whatever he had to say. So I'd like to see more of that. If you want to control things, let us, each and every one of us, control what we see. If we want to see all of that, put that in our hands.
I'm very excited to see what people come up with to be creative with their pages, because that's what's going to be, I think, a long-term game changer. Is it's no longer just let's post a video, let's post a picture, we'll post a couple comments, maybe a poll, ask a question. No, you're going to have to drive those conversations, and marketers are going to really get the brunt of this. The people that the social media employees, the people that companies have hired to take care of their social media posts. Well, now it's no longer just you have to take care of these posts. Now it's you have to represent our company through conversations that are happening in the thing that you've posted as well. And that's actually kind of a question that I want to throw out to all of you, but everybody else that's watching is, how are you going to use social media or, anything digital right now differently in 2018 than you have in the last couple of years that are going to make people want to come to your page, come to Rob Foray, as an example, doing his games. And it's, silly game type stuff, but it's unique and it's a little bit different, and it's pulling people in that might not normally want to view his page or want to visit the page of a DJ, and so on and so forth. So I don't know, just throwing that. I don't know if you guys have thought about it or put any thought.
That whole title, what you just said about like social media interaction manager, is a title for businesses now. I actually have had a company that owns several clubs and bars and stuff in the city talking to me, because I do so much social media stuff, talking to me about doing exactly what you said for the next year. They're like, we don't want the scheduled posts. We want interaction. We want everything to seem spontaneous, is the words that the one manager actually used to me. So I think that mentality is already getting there to where that's your only hope, is to be or appear to be as real as you can.
Well, I think it comes down to marketing and branding and everything. And there's so much you can do to think out of the box. And I mean, this is just me. And because I do so many conferences, I don't understand why everybody's so caught up in the Facebook world. Like that, like why everybody's so gung-ho about it has to be on Facebook. Why does it have to be on Facebook? Like, I don't understand why everybody is so about, it has to be about Facebook, because I mean, just like Jared was saying, like Snapchat, I mean, there's so many other outlets out there that people aren't even thinking out of the box about how you can get so much other things out there. And everybody's so into it has to be this way. No, it doesn't have to be that way. And if you want to try to get a different type of customer, if you want to try to think out of the box, if you want to try to get different marketing ideas, if you want to try to get, hey, I want to do something totally different, and I'm sick of trying to get this, and this is the only type of clients I get. Okay, well then think out of the box and do some different types of ideas. And all these people who are complaining about, and I've talked about this before in the past with you guys, people who are always complaining about this and complaining about that, do something about it. Mm-hmm. Do something about it. For instance, are you on Instagram? Do you have a business on Instagram? Are you guys marketing on Instagram? Is it working for you? No, I don't do an Instagram page. I don't do this. Well, then why not? Have you tried it? It's free. Have you tried it? Well, if you haven't tried it, then, there's nothing. If you haven't tried it, then I don't want to hear about it. Yeah. If you haven't marketed about it, and you haven't social media'd about it, and you haven't done it as a business page, and you haven't seen if you marketed as a business page and see who followed you, and maybe doing hashtags with it and seeing if you got any business from it, you know, what about it? You know, people who are complaining about, oh, I'm always in Facebook jail because of my music and this and this, that. Well, first of all, who are you posting videos for on, you know, on Facebook of you DJing? Like, I get it that you're in Facebook jail, and I'm not like, you know, like putting this against anybody like in particular, but is it for your clients? Like, I don't understand, like, everybody who's always complaining about like they're in Facebook jail and, oh, I was in Facebook jail because of my mix, because of this and that. Like, are you doing that for your client? Because I'll be honest, like, if I was like mixing at like a private event, and I was more into like making sure like my camera was set and I was like doing it, like, I know my client would be pissed off if I was like, hey, look at me. Hey, no, dude, because I'm so like making sure I'm looking at the crowd and I'm out there and I'm seeing this and that. And, you know, like I said, I might do like a little 10-second snap like at my party, but like that's it. Like, that's all I'm doing at my freaking thing. I could care less about, you know, me doing like a live Facebook thing. Okay, well, maybe I'll do it from the Revolution concert and DJNTV, but that's something totally different. But like, you know, things like that, like, worry about doing your marketing, worry about like your branding, worry about like stuff like that. You know, like, my whole thing is, you want to move forward for 2018 the way we're talking about it, worry about that kind of stuff. Worry about your money. Worry about what you're doing in your 24 hours. Because I know what I'm doing in my 24 hours. I'm hustling my booty off. While you guys are sleeping, I'm thinking about my money. I'm not thinking about like not being in Facebook jail because I was like, you know, trying to do a post from a party, you know, and they shut me down because of the music. Whatever. But I'll be more than happy to do a live Facebook feed about me, like about my branding and my company that might go out there that won't get shut down, that everybody will see. Or post a promo video about me, you know, on Facebook that I've done. So, I mean, you know, change it up for 2018, you know, the way Jared's saying, like, what are you doing for 2018 to change it up now that like maybe Facebook is changing it up? And if you're freaking out about it, find some other outlets to do it. Find some other ways to figure out what you want to do. Yes, this is Shani on her soapbox for DJNTV. And I'm going to get off of it in a second. This is what Shani does now. But, you know, like, think about what you want to do, and think about how you can change for what you want to do, whether it's for Facebook or whatever. But stop complaining, you know, less, and stop doing and do more. And I'm jumping off my 1 foot jump over YouTube way, and I'm off my soapbox.
This is a good night,
Jared. To answer your question, and I hate to say the
rickshaw.
No, it's not gonna be. I'm gonna buy a
Despacito. C.
No, I already told you. Answer to 10 was A. But no, and this is just, and we've talked about this kind of in one of the previous shows, where, you know, time is always, you know, a weird element for me, that I'm probably not going to do stuff differently, because I have a bad feeling that by the time I actually devote the time to change it and do what I'm supposed to do, it's gonna be another stupid algorithm. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you're not abusing is probably the wrong word, but if you're using the system as the person that you are, and I think this kind of goes differently whether you're talking about a group of people, like a company large, or whether it's like a single op organization. If you're using it to have that good content, like what we say when we want to email somebody, when we want to, you know, we want to share something with them, we're sharing an idea, we're sharing something that should be beneficial to them, otherwise they're not going to want to open it. The same thing kind of goes for the feed. You know, if we're not sharing something that's beneficial to them, what are we doing with it? And I think you're going to get that interaction, the right kind of interaction, if you are being, as they say, organic in what you're doing, trying to promote it the right way. Now, I've not read the article, so I could be spouting off all this information that's going to get you nowhere. But my feeling is you're going to have a lot less headache doing that, and then save that money and use that money in those posts that are going to go farther. So, maybe be a little bit more choosy on how you're spending money. So rather than using, a bunch of tiny little ads, spread it throughout, you be a genuine person and then save up for a month and do a bigger aspect ad. And like I said, maybe I'm completely off base by what they're expecting, what they're doing with this new algorithm, but I feel like that for me is the only thing I've got time for.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do what you have to do, and don't do anything with that you don't want to do. Don't change. Especially somebody like you that has the full-time job. As the teacher, you can't change and you can't do things, and you save the money and do the big posts and stuff like that. Like Jimmy just said, have all your friends make comments. You shouldn't have to do that. I'm not going to sit there, and I'm not going to be one of those people. And this is and nothing against you, Jimmy. I'm not going to be one of those people that send those freaking messenger posts to 20 of my friends, because I delete those, and say, hey guys, can you make a comment on my post? Delete. I delete people like that. I'm not going to be one of those people. And if people start sending me those messages, like those New Year's Eve when I was DJing that told me to touch that freaking clock. I don't know if you guys got those, especially, and I got those from DJs too. Come on, we're grown folks. You are a grown ass man, and you are sending me a message that says touch a clock. I'm so sorry. I should have deleted you a year ago if you want to send me that. But we shouldn't have to send messages to each other that says, hey, can you interact with me in a conversation on my Facebook? We shouldn't have to do that. And that's why I'm saying, find another outlet for you that's going to work with you to do something else. So you don't have to beg somebody to interact with you to get an algorithm for yourself.
Yeah.
Then do something else that's going to work with you, so you don't have to depend on your friends to do things. And as much as they will do it for you, and I'm sure somebody will be like, sure, I'll do a little message on your feed. You shouldn't have to beg your friends to do things like that. Market yourself a different way if you have to.
Well, I'm hoping there's one thing that this algorithm does, and maybe I'm sure.
And we'll see. We'll see.
There's one thing two local guys have done to me, and you talk about something that pisses you off. I've been tagged in their promotion other nights.
Hate that.
Untagged.
Untagged. People do that all the freaking time.
One who was running some bridal show promotion, and he went through and he tagged everybody that Facebook would allow him to in his friends list. And then the next week he was going through and tagging the next set of the alphabet. And the next week, because I got this thing, and I'm and I sent him a message, said, first off, you tagged me and I'm not even part of what you're doing. And second of all, I think it's really kind of shady. And he's like, you'd be surprised how many events I just got. And I'm and then just recently, another buddy of mine, he did the same thing. He was booked somewhere for the weekend, and he tagged me, and I'm like, I don't come out. I've got kids at home. I'm not going out to your night as much as I maybe like to, but that's not why you tagged me. You tagged me so my friends would see your post.
Yeah. First of all, tagging 98 people in your posts, boo-boo. Seriously. I see those. I'm going to tag 98 people in my flyer. Really? That's what you have to do, is tag 98 people in your flyer. And out of those 98 people, 68 are DJs. And guess what? And they're all working because they're DJs. Yeah.
So I think that's the show that you guys should tackle next week when John's back, is all the creative ideas to attack social media in 2018. I think my big idea this year is going to be revolutionary for me. I'm going to talk to people.
Yes, MJ.
No, you don't understand, Jared. You don't understand.
I love that, MJ.
That's a good step, MJ.
That's huge.
I went to a salsa night last Thursday, and
That you weren't DJing? Wait, hold on.
That I was not DJing, and I stood at the bar.
Was your friend DJing? Was your friend DJing?
I knew the guy, but I'm not friends with him.
I mean, you weren't in the DJ booth.
Oh no. And I'm standing at the far end, and I must have had 5 or 6 people start a conversation with me, and I'm like, wow, this is interesting, talking to people.
I'm so proud of you, MJ. I really am. That's huge for you.
It's a big stretch for me. So you guys can work on the social.
That's awesome, MJ.
The social media engineering. I'm going to work on the speaking to other humans in public.
That's awesome. Good for you.
So, but anyways, hey, we're over time, and I want to thank you guys for letting me hang out with you. There's all kinds of other stuff going on Disc Jockey News this week. I don't know the show schedule, but John puts it out. Go look for it if you want. Ask somebody, or I'll repost it. I'll probably do the whole week's thing, but there's a lot. In 2018, we have a lot of good content for every kind of DJ you are, every type of thing you're interested in. There's someone this year that is going to be doing a weekly show talking about it or something. So make sure you check that out. Check us out. DiscJockeyNews.com and DJNTV.com. And if you also want to find out more and kind of get the inside, we have our DJNTV Insiders area that you guys need to check out also, because that's where you get to see posts about you learning that it is illegal to have a monkey as part of your entertainment. And you would not learn that any other way than being part of that Insiders area.
In certain states.
In certain states, yes. So until next time, hey guys, thank you again. Dan, Shani, Jared, take care. And everybody else, take care of yourselves. God bless.